Hey YouTube, it is SoulPrime13 coming at you with another Transformers video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Mastermind Creations Infinity Stray, who is a original design of, I believe this is IDW Drift. I believe that's where he first popped up. But for anyone who's been following this, you know that this is the initial D car. I don't remember the exact make and model. I don't think it's on the box, but maybe Ketsu? I don't know. There is a small chance of a chase with red windows. Obviously, I got the regular one. I think chase stuff like that is silly. That's why I don't bother with blind boxes and whatnot. But taking a look at the box here, we do have some nice artwork there of Stray. On the side, we got a mugshot. I got my purchase sticker there. Here we got some more artwork of him. On the top, we got a snapshot of that vehicle and a picture of the robot mode. On the bottom, we just got legal jargon. And on the back, we do have our product shots and some tech specs. And we'll go ahead and bring in this little baggie, because it does come with a few things. It comes with the tech spec reveal. So there is that, if you can make all that out. It does come with a nice little collector card. So there is that. And it does also come with two additional faces. One that appears to be a smiley face, and then one he's sort of like gritting his teeth. So, but we will get to that in a bit. Go ahead and get this box out of the way. And we do also get our lovely instruction booklet. There is that. But yeah, here is Stray in his vehicle mode, and it is a pretty solid car mode. There is a particular reason I'm starting in vehicle mode. He does come packaged in robot mode. It has a lot to do with how his legs transform. But if you come underneath, you can see he does have his swords all stored on the bottom. The big sword does split up into parts. And for some reason, this does kind of like bump up against the bumper, and it does actually tell you to lift the bumper up like this, but there is just barely enough room to have it down like it's supposed to be. And he does roll very nicely. Very nice. He does have rubberized tires. I will say the storage for the sword on the bottom could definitely be better. As you can see, it is just kind of loosely holding on, because it's basically just got like a C-clamp around it. The little swords actually plug in, which is nice, but yeah, just the big blade is just kind of hanging there. So if you were to, I guess it holds better than it looks. But yeah, overall a very nice car mode. It does have a nice sheen to it, and I do really like the red details. I did actually put a pre-order in for the plain white one at first, but apparently that was like an exclusive to a certain website, and Shozy Store still had it listed anyway. So I canceled that after I found that out and just got the regular one, which, you know, by no means am I upset with this. He does have some little bits of kanji there on his rear view mirrors, which is neat. Do have some clear plastic inserts for the headlights. Got some nice yellow there for the turn signals. Come back here, we got all of our lights painted, which is nice. Do actually have little bits of silver there on the rear view mirrors. And we do actually have sculpted brake pads in there, which is nice. And red for the rims, or the wheels rather. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take these off because this keeps popping around. You just spread these open. You can take that out. And I don't know why, but this does have like a spring-loaded feature. It doesn't really do anything in robot mode either. I don't know why it's there. But The little ones, they just plug in. There's a little post hole here on the pommel, and there are posts on his arms there. Just take those off. Come on. Put those to the side. Then this piece right here sort of plugs up into the bumper. We do want to just sort of get that out of there. Honestly, getting it up there and getting it to stay in there can be a little bit of a hassle. Nothing too crazy. There we go. Has hands. Well, yeah, this is the spark chamber thing for his sword, and it does just plug in to the bumper up here on, I think, the on the longer side. And then the handle right here just plugs in right in there into his crotch. And we'll just go ahead and assemble the sword now. We take the smaller port side, plug that on, then we take the sword blade and plug that on top. And there we have his big sword. And we'll do a couple comparisons here. Here he is next to a Deluxe B127. And here he is next to, I can never remember this guy's name, but the repaint of Trailbreaker. So yeah, that's about it for the vehicle mode. So I guess we should go ahead and move on to transformation. And yeah, once everything's together as the car, it does hold together very solidly. There are a few things that I am going to go over that I'm not super fond of, but overall it's still a very good figure. Oh, before I forget, you do actually get opening doors, and there is a little bit of an interior in there. You do get seats and a little steering wheel right there, and you do get to open both doors. So they do actually have an interior in there. Not a lot of room, so it'd be hard to find a minifigure that actually fits in there. But hey, it's a thing you can do. So there's that. But anyway, moving on from that, I do believe the next step is to sort of unhook this windshield and then bring this panel up. And we are going to want to... trying to remember what's next. I think it's usually here in the back. Stuff in the back. Trying to remember part to separate first. I meant to do this review a little bit earlier, but I have had a lot going on. There we go. We're going to separate these and bring these out. Sort of bring these all the way out. And we do want to come up here and bring up the whole back roof section. We are going to fold these little panels in, and then we are just going to sort of bring all of this out. We do want to separate the legs. Let's sort of move these up out of the way. Okay. Now the legs, there is a fair bit of complexity too. And honestly, if it weren't for the fact that this is Mastermind Creations and they do really good work and have very good materials, this would be a total flop of a figure. And I'll sort of explain that as I go. But basically, it's because there's a lot of parts to the legs, but they don't actually really lock in. The only thing keeping the leg together for the most part is the stiffness of the joints, and it's because Mastermind Creations does have the right amount of stiffness on their joints that it works. If it was like another company, it would probably not even stand. But anyway, we want to bring the leg down all the way, and we are going to come here and see. Do want to, let's see, trying to remember how, because you need to get this flip around to the other side. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, let's see, we want to bring his foot out from this little tucked in position, and you can see there's a little groove it fits into. You're going to bring that up and around and slide that forward, bring that around. We want to bring that foot back out and under, and then you can sort of bring that foot out. This little silver piece, we're going to move it back sort of like so. I do want to fold up this knee piece here and then bring that forward, and that'll foop into place a little bit. And then do want to bring this black piece up and straighten it so that it's resting right under that little white piece, that little piece right there. So straighten that out. Then we want to bring this leg back. We're going to lift this up again and see, I'm trying to remember how exactly. Because there is, let's see. Okay, yeah, we do need to move this windshield piece here on this slider. Just kind of bring that in. And then this, do want to fold this bumper piece up. And then you want to bring this out and rotate this all down. And we're going to bring this together, and this little silver piece is going to plug in right here. So, and this is something that was a little confusing in the instructions, because it was telling you to like separate it a certain way, and it just really didn't make sense to me. Maybe it might make sense to other people, but it was making it seem like you had to like lift it up and like separate it at the same time or something. It was really confusing. Anyway, we want to take this piece, and we do want to rotate that around. That will foop into place, and we can bring this in, and the windshield piece is going to go like, there's a little bit of wiggle to this side piece, this fender, and it's going to go in between that and the leg parts, like so. Yeah, and again, all of this doesn't really lock in. If you like push on it, it'll just like collapse inward, but the tightness of the joints does keep it mostly in place. Anyway, we want to take this knee piece, and then we slide that up, and again, like, this is just here on a single hinge, it doesn't lock in. So those are like my biggest complaints, but again, Mastermind Creations does do good work, and the joints do pretty much hold everything in place just because they're stiff enough. Anyway, we're going to do the same with the other side. So we are going to bring this out, bring this up, bring this around. Then we want to get this little leg piece back out and under. Go ahead and rotate this piece up. Extend this whole leg assembly. Bring that knee piece up. Bring that like so. Straighten out the foot. And we want to flip this up. Bring this out, bring this back, plug the silver piece in here, like so. Yeah, you can sort of see how that's just all moving around right there. Bring that in. Yeah, this side is a little less secure, unfortunately. Still enough that he'll stand properly and everything, but when you move the foot, that just the entire leg starts shifting. So, I think that's pretty much as good as I'm going to be able to get that. And we slide up that knee piece, and there we have his legs all done. So now coming back up here to the doors, what we want to do is we want to bring these out like so, And we're going to slide the window forward on this little slider. And then the door also is on a slider. Bring it in. Then fold this up like so. So it's folded up like that. And there he has his little side sheath hip skirt pieces. We want to scoot that window up on the slider. Bring the door up on the slider. Bring that forward. Fold the window over. Sort of angle that back. And there we have his lower half done. So now that we're done with the lower half, okay, his legs are actually not sitting even either. See if I can't do something about that. Hold on, this popped out of place. Come on. Know why, but his legs don't want to sit at the same length either. This piece is sitting a bit far forward, but he won't. Maybe if I try and bring this one out. Looks like they should be even. Anyway, let's bring this up a little higher and work on those arms. So first things first, we are going to rotate this 180. We are going to bring this down and sort of pop this windshield out. And we could just split this entire top half and bring these out to the sides. You can go ahead and fold up his head, and when it comes to the inside, you want to take these side pieces here, and you're going to rotate them up. This piece here is going to rotate up, and then I'm going to bring these seat pieces, and those are supposed to let go. And there's like this little moving piece that I guess is supposed to be like the headrest, but they don't really actually matter. But okay, there we go. Fold those seats up. And I don't remember how exactly this one's supposed to sit. I don't think it's supposed to cover up that part in there. Is this? No. Oh, right, and this piece here is going to tap into his throat. Like that, so. Oh, right, actually before we plug that in, we do need to fold the steering wheel underneath. Then we tab that in. Get that to the side. Pretty sure that's not supposed to cover those pieces up. Yeah. 1 second. Oh, that's why. I goofed. Bring the windshield piece down You want to tuck it in and then bring this up. And it's supposed to sit on the outside. I still think I'm doing that wrong. Actually, yeah, I am. Seats go in, windshield comes down, and apparently, yeah, there it is. There's a little hook piece right here. Right here. The windshield goes into. It's supposed to sit like that. I don't know why there's sculpted detail on this side if it doesn't ever actually show. That was throwing me off. I should have done this once before I started filming. It's been a few days. Anyway, so we bring these pieces out. And you can double hinge these pieces in. This needs to be folded out properly. There. These. Keep folding them down instead of up. Make sure fold that in, and that'll form the bulk of his torso. Then for the arms, I'm going to fold this piece out. We are going to rotate this and just sort of wiggle his arms loose and unhook those. Come here, and then we're just sort of wiggle those arms loose. Yep. And yeah, there are some pieces that like to pop off. That is one of the issues I do have with this figure. There are definitely some pieces that don't like to stay on. This is another one, this headlight piece right here. And where did this one come from? Oh, there it is. This one, gotta make sure I'm putting it in right. Ow, bit me. Okay, yeah. That's from right here. And probably just going to need to glue those parts in. Actually, I wouldn't recommend gluing this one because it does sort of have some give to it because of this. It just, as you can see, it causes it to pop off a lot. But you do want to bring this up, and it is possible to do it without popping it off. It's just not easy. And then you fold this piece out. You want to bring this up on the double hinge, and then this, fold this white piece out. I'm going to bring this in like so and flatten it like so, so that, as you can see, it folds over. And then you're going to come to this side and you bring it down, and that's going to form his sort of shoulder armor. And now put this piece back on. I think I gotta bring this back out to the side and do it. And yeah, there is a little bit of clearance issue moving this back into car mode with these particular parts on his shoulder, especially getting this part out to the side all the way. Anyway, just gonna fold that back in, rotate that around, bring that shoulder piece back down, and that will tab in there. Now you have his shoulder all done, and you can fold his hand out. It is on an extra hinge right here. Just turn it around and orient it properly. And for this, let's see if we can do it without popping it off. But you want to wiggle this up and bring it straight up on that hinge, then up and up like so. I'm gonna fold this in as we sort of turn everything around inside. Come on, get out of the way. Bring this down. Oop. Bring it over the shoulder. in, and there, we did it. Fold that hand out, rotate it around, and there we have Stray, aka Drift, in his robot mode. And yeah, there are definitely some finicky bits to the transformation, but for the most part everything does hold together once you get it there. And again, really the biggest issues I have is that, again, parts of the legs should lock in a bit better, or, well, they don't really lock in at all, and it's just the stiffness of the joints keeping them, you know, together. And then, yeah, the little bits here that pop off, and, you know, a piece that popped off on the back of his arm doesn't always pop off. This you could probably just glue back in, but these do pop off to prevent breakage, so that I can't recommend that you glue those. But we'll do some comparisons, and I wish I still had my old Generations Drift that I had forever ago, because that was an amazing figure and it's the reason I wanted this. But here we have Reveal the Shield Jazz, who I recently picked up. Here we have him with Lift Ticket. Somehow I remember his name. Here we have him next to Blaster. And we are going to bring in one other MMC in their Femtarn. And the reason we're bringing her in is because he does come with an accessory that I was unaware of until it popped out of the box. But he does come with an extra head sculpt for her. And I've looked at the two of them, and the only difference I can see is that the head crest is a lighter purple, like a much lighter purple, and the color of lipstick she's wearing is a different shade. Excuse me. Because and I believe the mask still fits on and everything. It just is a slight change in color. Oh, maybe the mask. Oh no, yep, there it goes. Yeah, so it's just a color difference as far as the Eris/Femtarn head sculpt goes. So yeah, just different lipstick and a different shade of purple on the head crest. But it does come with that, so yeah. Not really sure as to what the reason for that was, but hey, it's a thing. It's probably just gonna go in a baggie for me. Anyway, as far as switching his head, I think we just pop it off. So I'm just gonna take it off the ball joint here. And I believe we just... No, this might be one of those where you have to take the screw out. Haven't actually attempted to switch the faces yet. I will consult the sacred texts, but I don't remember them saying anything about it. Yeah, it doesn't seem to say anything about switching his faces at all. Yeah, I hit that 29-minute limit again, but yeah, I checked the instructions, and it only says he comes with 2 extra faces. It doesn't say anything about switching them. I think his head crest is holding the face in place, so you will have to unscrew it and then switch them. And I'm not going to go through all that trouble. I'm fine with his default face. But let's get to the part that everybody cares about. His various swords. So again, he does come with the 2 little swords and the 1 big sword. And as far as the big sword, this handle is, you can switch it back and forth since it's just a square peg that puts it on. So you can put it in either hand. You don't have to worry about the handle. But it does just kind of, you know, open up his fist, and you just kind of slide it over his hand there. I'll switch it around so the blade's facing forward, and then yeah, you just close up his hand. And he does have a nice bit of wrist movement with both a wrist hinge and a swivel, so you do get plenty of movement there. And we'll go over the articulation, but he has lots of joints in his arms, so he can get some pretty good poses. And you can put these smaller blades in his hand, same way. They don't clip into his hand. Again, it's the stiffness of his fingers that is actually holding it in. But again, Mastermind Creations does actually make their joints tight enough to do that. So there you can have him holding his smaller sword as his leg starts to shift the parts around again. But something else you can do is, again, they have that little post hole there for a car mode, and that post is actually right here on his forearm. So if you want to give him some Assassin's Creed underarm stabbiness, you can do that too. Isn't that neat? And of course, we have to talk about him and his weapon storage. So, if we, hey, come on, take this off. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. There was like a different way it's supposed to store, I think. Pretty Does it just stick in there? I thought that it was supposed to hook onto his back. But we do get the car door sheaths for the smaller swords. So they just stick right in there. Just stick them right in there. This one's a little bit tighter than the other, so. But yeah. Certain there is a weird way his sword attached to his back, and now I'm paranoid, so I'm checking the instruction again. No, yeah, no, it just slips into that little clip. Just losing my mind. That's a joke, I never had a mind. But we definitely need to go over his articulation now, because boy does he have a lot. So you do get the ankle tilt, and you do get some up and down at the toe. Again, do be careful that you don't actually just shift all the leg pieces, but you do get a thigh swivel. You do get a double jointed knee, and the upper knee joint is a ratchet. You do get a outer ratchet at the hip. If we move this sword out of the way, we get like all the way back pretty much, and all the way forward, and he does have the moving hip skirts, which is nice. And these are coming undone. These are on a swivel and a hinge, so you can pose these if you want as well. You obviously get a 360 waist because of that transformation. You do get a butterfly joint, and it can double hinge if you want to bring it out further since of that transformation. There is also a bit of a hinge here and a swivel here for the shoulder, so you do get 360 for the arm. Can come up that far, extends all the way out. As far as the arm, you do get a these are very like hairline difference, so it will catch if you use that bicep swivel. But you do get a double jointed elbow, again due to transformation. You do get a wrist like movement here, so you can angle. Here, I'll show it from this side too. So there is that. You get that transformation wrist bend here. You get the hinge at the hand. You do get a swivel for the hand. And then you get ball joint, hinge, and hinge for the thumb. And then just fully articulated hands. You get ball joint, hinge, hinge, ball joint, hinge, hinge. You know, you get the whole posable hand. You get the whole hand. You paid for the hand, you can use the whole hand. Very nice. I do like my posable hands. And then the head is on a very, very nice ball joint with lots of movement. So yeah, very satisfied with all that. We'll go ahead and give you your little stabby back and put this one back in its sheath. So there is that. So yeah, there is Mastermind Creations Stray, aka Drift. And yeah, despite his minor issues, I really do like this figure. I really like the robot mode. I really like the vehicle mode, both because it's a very solid, very cool vehicle mode, and you know, it's got the initial D meme built right there into it. It's got lots of posability, which is definitely something I'd want for a figure like this, especially with the fully posable hands and having essentially like extra joints in the arms for more posability. He's got all the, you know, neat little things of that original design from the comics, you know, like with the sword sheaths in his doors. He's got the big sword, and yeah, he's just got all sorts of fun little things. So yeah, like again, you do have to be aware that the leg pieces don't completely lock in, and there are some parts here in the shoulder, like car part, that are gonna pop off from time to time. But for the most part, it's, you know, not horrible. It does knock it down a couple points, but I think if I'm gonna give him a rating, I think an 8.5 might be a little harsh, but I think it's justified just because there are several smaller issues. But again, I still think it's fully worthwhile. If I remember correctly, this guy was around $115 US is what I paid, if I'm not mistaken. And for that, I think, you know, he lives up to what he's trying to do. Again, Mastermind Creations does make really good stuff. They, you know, use good materials. I'm not worried about anything, you know, breaking. Those joints feel like they're going to be stiff for a while, so, you know, it might become something of an issue down the road, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Overall, I really do like this figure, and I do recommend him, especially if you like Drift. Especially if you were a fan of that like old Generations toy, which, God, I wish I still had that. And then just like if you like the initial D thing, like gas. So yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about this. But you know, at the end of the day, I do like it, and I am pretty satisfied with him. So I'll go ahead and leave it there, and gonna go ahead and wrap up this review. And this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.